This is PSN Newsrun, streaming exclusively on YouTube.
On the news, President Tinubu signs landmark tax reform into law, promises economic reset on what he calls a new lease of life for Nigeria's prosperity. Here's Joycelyn with details.
At the State House in Abuja, President Bola Tinubu has signed 4 landmark tax bills, calling it a new lease of life for Nigeria's prosperity.
What you have provided is leadership and courage in the face of mounting dispute. Nowhere in the world that tax reform will be any easy. Some tax bills that you might read in your textbooks might even sound sometimes like reading in English in Japanese. Very difficult, twisted equations, reverse ideologies. At the end of the day, what you must land with is the hope to develop the people and show the right character towards the destination. We are in transit. We have changed the road. We have changed some of the misgivings. We have opened the door for new economy, business opportunity. We are showing that Nigeria is truly ready and open for business. Easy in, easy out.
The new lease creates one harmonized tax code, a single rule book for collectors nationwide, an autonomous Nigeria Revenue Service to replace FIRS, and a joint revenue board tying federal, state, and local agencies together. Senate President Godswill Akpabio believes the law will outlive the generation that passed it. Reform architect Taiwo Oyedele calls it fundamental, while incoming NRS chief Zach Adedeji says it's a dream fulfilled. Back up not, some governors and revenue chiefs are worried. They fear a centralized system could shortchange less developed states, places that lean on informal markets and smaller tax bases. They also argue local government autonomy might erode despite constitutional roles in grassroots taxation. From Katsina to Zamfara, officials warn that unless equity is baked into implementation, the gap between rich and poor states could widen. Supporters insist the overhaul will boost compliance, plug revenue leaks, and cut investors. Critics counter fairness and transparency will decide whether this bold move unifies or divides the federation. Joycelyn Ella Keche Ada, PS News.
NNPC Ltd is warning of a coordinated sabotage campaign targeting its leadership. Marianne is here to tell us what you should know.
NNPC Ltd says a faceless syndicate made up of insiders and outsiders is spreading false reports and misinformation designed to discredit the company's transformation efforts. According to the NNPC Ltd, the aim is clear: the real efforts to build corruption-free, performance-driven energy company aligned with President Tinubu's reforms. The attack includes scandalous fabricated reports intended to distract leadership, mislead the public, and demoralize staff. This is not the first of such case. NNPC recently debunked a fake AI-generated video featuring a cloned voice of his group CEO, Bayo Bashir Ojulari, and earlier confronted misinformation over fuel quality. NNPC states it expects a surge in defamatory content in the coming days but remains resolute. The transformation is underway and no amount of sabotage will stop it. Stakeholders and patriotic Nigerians are urged to ignore the noise and stay focused. Marianne Awia, PS News.
After months of political tension in Rivers State, a major breakthrough has finally been reached, and it's coming straight from the presidential villa. Here's Terza with the full gist.
In a closed-door meeting hosted by President Bola Tinubu in Abuja, the long-standing political feud between FCT Minister Nyesom Wike and Rivers State Governor Simeon Alai Fubara has officially been resolved. Speaking after the meeting, Wike declared the crisis over, saying both sides had agreed to work together. He said they are all members of the same political family, and as humans, they disagree, settle, and move on. The FCT minister said everything is over and no more acrimony.
For me, everything is over, and enjoy everybody who believe to work with us, to also work together with everybody. That there's no more acrimony, there's nothing to say we're disagreeing. We have all agreed on everything.
Of the leaders of the states, including our leader, peace has returned in Rivers State.
Governor Fubara echoed the message of unity, stating that peace has now returned to the oil-rich states. He said with the help of the president and leaders, they have reached an agreement. Peace has returned and everything will be done to sustain it. This meeting marks President Tinubu's second major attempt at brokering peace between both camps, after a December 2023 accord collapsed under renewed hostilities and legal disputes. It also comes 3 months after President Tinubu declared a temporary state of emergency in Rivers, suspending both Governor Fubara and his deputy and installing a sole administrator, retired Naval Chief Ibokete Ibas. That controversial intervention is still being challenged at the Supreme Court. In a statement, the president's aide Bayo Onanuga said Tinubu has once again shown his commitment to stabilizing Rivers politics, emphasizing peace over power struggles. I'm Teza Phillips. This is PS News.
And now, on international news, former Trump advisor and communications strategist Jason Miller has asked Africa to seek partnerships over promises. Joycelyn has more scoop on this report.
Now to business and trade. America is talking tough, but with opportunity in sight. At the Afreximbank annual meetings in Abuja, former Trump advisor Jason Miller laid out a bold and blunt vision for U.S.-Africa trade relations, calling it partnership over promises. Speaking to African leaders and investors, Miller projected Africa as the world's third largest economic bloc by 2050, with Nigeria among the top 10 economies globally. But he warned, without strategic planning, the continent could be exploited all over again.
As you know, the global economy is rapidly shifting. President Trump's leadership has restored America as the hottest country in the world to do business with. Technological advances in the fields of AI and energy and so many other sectors are rapidly changing the future of our workforce. And the heightened demand for natural resources, critical minerals, and rare earths to power the AI technological revolution is something Africa has and everybody wants.
Miller drew a sharp contrast between America's private capital-led approach and what he called debt diplomacy from other nations like China, accusing them of environmental damage and economic traps. For African nations, demand real value, not unsustainable debt. Create investor-friendly reforms. Enforce contracts, fight corruption, and stabilize currency. Choose strategic allies who respect sovereignty.
All of these changes have created a pivotal moment for Africa to seize its opportunities. But if these opportunities are not taken advantage of, Africa and its people risk falling further behind. And if Africa isn't strategic about how to take advantage of these opportunities and who Africa chooses as its closest allies, the continent itself risks being taken advantage of.
On policy, he addressed the uncertain future of the African Growth and Opportunity Act, urging African governments to renegotiate on fair, reciprocal terms. He also defended Trump-era tariffs, calling them tools for economic fairness. Miller's bottom line: if Africa wants serious U.S. investment, think BlackRock and CalPERS. It must act decisively. Stability infrastructure, and credible reforms are non-negotiable. And in a twist, Miller was announced as senior advisor to Gateway Partners, pledging to channel American capital into Africa's future-facing industries. His final words: no more photo ops, demand partnerships, build power on Africa terms. Joycelyn Ella Keche Ada, PS News.
And here's Sam with the latest on sports.
Super Eagles forward Paul Onuachu is nearing a permanent transfer from Southampton to Turkish side Trabzonspor following a standout loan performance, deal expected imminently. Meanwhile, former Super Falcons coach Randy Waldrum sharply criticized the NFF for inadequate financial support during his tenure, claiming players lacked pay under his leadership. While on the winning streak, Nigeria has unveiled a record-setting 172-member squad for the 14th African Arm Wrestling Championship, scheduled for July 23rd to 27th in Abuja, comprising elite athletes, youths, and para-athletes from across the nation. While on the bright side, Nigeria is gearing up as host of the 3rd African Under-18 Under-20 Athletic Championship in Abeokuta, with anticipation building around the performance of its team track stars. And that's it from the Sport Desk. This is Samuel Akban for PS News.
You just watched PSN Newsrun, streaming exclusively on YouTube. This is your trusted voice for news that matters. Subscribe, like, share, and stay informed.